You think you know what we're going to talk about.
But unfortunately, I fell down a damn rabbit hole and I've not gotten out yet.
Knife bros.
I literally Googled Sebastian Stan hands.
But just when you least expect it, we changed the game.
Well, yeah, because like usually in astrology, they would partner up air signs with fire signs.
All right, you can huggle.
Time travel stories and
At the end of the day, only one thing matters. We decide.
Well, we should make it a topic. Unfortunately, I didn't take German in school. I took Spanish and I don't remember any of it.
Three Fates Decide podcast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Three Fates Decide. My name is Sam. I'm one of your co-hosts. I'm here with my two other co-hosts, Mary and Liz. Say hello, ladies.
hi.
Hello.
And tonight we are going to be talking all things Thanksgiving because yesterday was Thanksgiving, and I'm sure you're all dying of fullness while you lay in your beds on this Black Friday. So we figured we would share our traditions, things we like, and all things Thanksgiving-esque feel.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm still technically in a food coma.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what are we gonna do with all that? That's a $1 million question every year. What are we gonna do with all that?
Yeah. Yeah, we cooked this year, so that was fun. We usually go to my aunt's house, one of my aunt's houses, but since my grandmother passed away this year, we decided to have it. So,
Yeah. What about you, Sam? How is your Thanksgiving typically?
It's okay. We didn't get a chance to have it last year. Everyone was too concerned about COVID and everything like that, so it was nice to actually be able to go. I usually go to my aunt's house. Not that many people this year because my 97-year-old aunt is present, so anyone who's not vaccinated didn't come. I don't think they were asked not to come. I think they just decided not to come to just, protect her. And, very chill, nothing crazy. The only thing, my aunt likes to literally use the entire day. Like, she has us come at like 2, but then we don't have, so we're Italian. We always have ravioli prior to the meal. That's one of our
Yum.
traditions.
Yum.
And so if we get there at 2, we have like the antipasto and like, all different appetizers and stuff. And then we don't have the ravioli until like 6 o'clock. And then we eat dinner at like 7. So we're there for 5 hours before we even like have the legit meal. And it's because
right.
she loves this day so much that she likes to spread it out. It's just like, I just want to go home after a while. Like,
Right?
Yeah, that kind of sounds like what I've heard of how Italian Christmas is like.
Christmas is much better. It's Thanksgiving that
It's
she
just funny,
drags it on.
right? It's just funny to me because like I've heard Italian people saying like their Christmas is kind of like what you described your Thanksgiving as being like. So, like I like Italian people, not like Italian people who've been living in the U.S. for like 5 generations or whatever. But like really how they do it in Italy, that's what I've heard anyway. So I
Yeah.
think it's fascinating how it changed.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just, she wants people to stay there as long as possible, and I don't. So that's the one negative, I guess, with my family. It's just it's so spread out. Like there's no reason for it. Most people I feel like have dinner at like 4 o'clock. Yeah, no, we eat at like 7:30.
Ew. We eat at noon.
Like,
We make it our big meal of the day is like noon. Like 12:30 is usually when we eat. and then we're all in food comas until about 6, and then we might get a little something, and then we're back into a food coma until the next day. So
Yeah, like
yeah,
it's crazy. It is.
Right.
And then I feel like it's usually like another hour or so before we do dessert. I'm like, it's a 10-hour day.
ugh.
It does sound exhausting.
Yeah.
So I like to spend my Black Fridays resting.
Yes.
I don't go shopping.
Oh hell no.
I'm a
You-
Cyber Monday person.
You can't. There's not enough money in the world to pay me to go out of my house on Black Friday,
Mm-mm.
except for the few times I had to work retail.
Yeah.
And the last time I worked retail, I don't know how I missed the major Black Friday rush because I was scheduled for afternoons that day.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I was like, thank God. Oh, thank God. But I was also 4 months pregnant at the time with my daughter.
Mm.
So might have had something to do with it.
They were being nice.
I think they were. They were being nice to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
granted, I wasn't big pregnant, but pregnant.
So I feel bad for retail.
Yeah.
Like, and now like so many stores are starting even earlier, starting on Thanksgiving. So like they don't even get a chance to like celebrate Thanksgiving. It's ridiculous.
I know. I do not understand. There is no need for stores to open at like 6 o'clock on Thanksgiving Day
Mm-mm.
because they open like 6 p.m. to like 2, and then they close, and then they open up again at like 5. I'm like, there's no point. There's no need for this.
Nope.
I know. It makes you kind of wonder, like, who in the world is actually supposedly shopping at
There
those
are people.
times?
There are people. Sadly, there are freaking people that will shop on Thanksgiving Day.
Yep. My best friend used to work for Target, and she used to have to be there for like 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Thanksgiving. They would open at like 6, and they would have people like waiting in line because of the deals.
Yeah.
But you know,
It's just
unfortunately, the U.S. is all about the ultimate consumer,
Uh-huh.
and Black Friday is proof.
Yes. Well, just a little pro tip for all y'all out there that have never worked retail. Your best deals are actually in the like middle of the year, more likely, because what they do is your lowest prices are about 2 months before Thanksgiving hits, Black Friday. Then they start jacking the prices up, and then they jack them back down to normal prices for Black Friday. You're really not getting the deal that you think you're getting.
So, in other words, you're basically a sucker every year when you go shopping on Black Friday.
Basically, yes.
That's hilarious.
Because if you actually notice, you'll actually see you'll actually see prices start going up, and then you're just like, gee. And then they'll put them back down to about what their normal price, maybe a little bit more off, but you're not really getting the deal that you think you're getting.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like I said, I'm more of a Cyber Monday person. I can sit on my computer and get what I want.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, like, I know from my own shopping experience, like, with technology, sometimes I take advantage of, like, how, oh, this model is like, we're trying to get rid of it because we got newer models coming. So I'll, like, buy, the ones they're trying to get rid of, like, for a lot cheaper. Because
yeah.
I am not like one of those people who is super obsessed with getting the newest toy, so
Nope.
I'm like, listen, this thing that you're trying to get rid of, it's still like 3 models better than the one I'm already using. So this is good enough. And I'm saving probably $200 or whatever off of it. So who
Yeah.
cares? Yeah. So yeah, my normal Thanksgiving is we actually do eat like around 6:30, 7 o'clock. We don't do all day eating like that because some of us are actually busy doing some of the cooking, so we don't have that kind of time to do like, get up like crazy early in the morning to do cooking for lunchtime. I mean, that is not happening.
Oh no, we do all the cooking the day before, and then we just heat it up in crock pots.
Yeah, well, we can't do that either because
Yeah.
almost all of us are working like office jobs the day before Thanksgiving, so that is not happening either. So we do the actual cooking uh during the day on Thanksgiving Day. And we do sort of like a potluck type of thing a lot of times. So in recent years, my brother has been hosting the dinner. And actually my sister-in-law kind of took over making the turkey because long story short, there was a year where most of us were not in the US for Thanksgiving. We happened to be all in Hong Kong. To have for those who didn't go to Hong Kong that year, they had to figure out Thanksgiving themselves. So, they got so my brother and sister-in-law, they figure out how to do turkey themselves and they were like, "Okay, let's take over the turkey making." And so they have. Um They'll also make some of the side dishes. My parents and I, we will make this barbecue roasted salmon. Well, yeah. And also some additional stir fries and things like that for the dinner. One of my uncles, usually makes like ham and another dish as well. And another aunt and uncle, they bring the dessert. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
my family all splits up. Like my aunt who hosts, usually she's the one that like makes the turkey or whatever. But like my family, we bring a side dish. We usually make what we call broccoli pie, which is
okay.
delicious. I can explain that in a second. And then we always bring the desserts. We bring the pies. For anyone who kind of lives in like the New York, New Jersey area, in New Jersey in Colts Neck, there's a place called Delicious Orchards, and they make amazing pies. So we always buy the pies from there, which is about 10 minutes from my house. So we always bring those as well. But broccoli pie is actually really, really good.
Right. Yeah, and I think, yeah, I mean, I don't always do it, but every once in a while for Thanksgiving, I will make a dessert. But in recent years, I haven't really been doing that because because like I was saying earlier, like one of my aunts and uncles, they ended up getting the pie or whatever, so I stopped doing that. But I did used to make like apple pie or uh pumpkin pie from scratch mostly. Um
I love pumpkin pie.
Yeah, the only thing that was, like, pre-made was, like, the actual pumpkin pie filling because,
Right.
I don't have because I don't know about some of you guys, but I don't have time to, like, roast my own pumpkin and get the filling out myself, but,
No.
Libby's
um yeah, but,
Libby's
eh, but, the actual pie crust itself and if I was making apple pie, I do make the filling myself, so I found some pretty good recipes.
Hmm.
So,
we legit just use the pumpkin pie recipe on the back of the Libby's can. It is
Listen,
literally the best pumpkin pie I've ever had.
canned
I
pumpkin,
think
man.
minus 1 egg. I think we do 1 less egg because we don't like it we don't like it real custardy tasting,
Mm,
yeah.
but that's just us.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't make pie. I buy pie.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
Yeah.
I've been like a bit lazy in recent years, but I used to bake a lot actually. At least a few times a year I'll bake something. I've baked cake, I baked pie, I've baked cookies. My one real failure, baking wise, has actually been scones. I
mm,
just don't know what it is I did wrong precisely, but the couple of times I tried making scones, like, when you bite into them, they have too much of that baking soda, uh, kinda bitter taste to it, if you guys can picture what I'm talking about, but it definitely tastes really off, and I can't figure out why. I don't know if maybe I should, like, see if there's, like, a class or something where they're teaching you how to make them, and like I can really understand what I did wrong because I followed the recipe. So I don't know if in like I didn't mix it enough or I mixed it too much. I don't know. I don't know. But I may need to have a more professional person supervising me on making those because I've heard quite a few times that those things are very finicky to make, which shouldn't surprise me because anything bread type stuff tends to be kind of finicky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
we make
yeah.
bread a lot now. My mom's been making it a lot lately.
Oh, have they been successful?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I make banana bread.
we no, oh no, we make oatmeal bread.
Mm.
Yeah, with bread flour, oatmeal. That's delicious. Delicious.
That's good.
But it's like a real thick, heavy bread, so it's kind of hard to fuck it up.
Yeah, yeah,
It's kind of hard to mess that up.
right. But
Um,
yeah.
what are some of your favorite Thanksgiving foods besides pie?
Oyster dressing.
Oh, that's
It,
interesting. Is that like
it's
a
a,
fan?
it's a staple in our. It's a staple for us with our for Thanksgiving. This was the first year we didn't have it because we couldn't
Oh,
find oysters.
is that like a family
Mm.
recipe?
Yeah, but I mean, actually, you can just like if it's not really even a family recipe so much as it's pretty common. A lot of places, especially the South, do an oyster dressing.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, because if you type in oyster dressing in like Google, you'll get like 10 million recipes come up for it. But it's so good. Oh, it's so good. But we literally make ours from scratch.
Yeah,
Other
that's
than
Um,
always
the
good.
oysters. Obviously.
Everything from scratch is always better.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we don't make the oysters from scratch, but
That would be magic trick.
Right?
right?
Uh,
It kind of reminds me like not to like diverge from the topic too much, but that really does remind me how like in the news in recent months they've been talking about how New York City has been trying to restart the oyster colonies that used to be here, which I think is pretty awesome. So who knows, in a few years we may, if you were to come to New York and you wanted to go like to an oyster bar or something to, get your oysters, it's very possible some of them may be fresh from New York Harbor, super local,
That's
which would
cool.
be amazing.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't realize it, but like when they mentioned this, they were talking about like, oh yeah, 200, 300 years ago, all the oysters served in New York City were local New York Harbor, Brooklyn area oysters. Like people could just go pick the things at any time they want. Which sounds amazing to me because it's like how expensive do oysters get these days,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just amazes me. But anyway, uh,
Definitely.
what about you, Sam? What's your favorite special Thanksgiving food?
Well, besides my broccoli pie, which is obviously main ingredient is broccoli. And then there's mushrooms, onions, and Velveeta cheese, and we mix it with egg and some flour, and then put some breadcrumbs on top and bake it. Oh, so good, so good.
Right.
That
So
sounds good.
it's so delicious. I don't know where my mom got the recipe from, but I've adopted to making it now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's usually my contribution. And then I guess the Irish side of me, mashed potatoes, 100%. I'm a
Yeah.
big mashed potato fan.
Yes.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
I don't know how you can screw mashed potatoes up, but every year my aunt screws up mashed potatoes.
Huh?
I don't know how.
Like, what's wrong with them?
They I mean, they're the real mashed potatoes, so they should be delicious. But I don't know what she does to them, but they are just
Like, is it the taste? Is it the texture?
Both. I don't know what she does. I have no clue what the hell this woman does. I've sat and watched her make these damn things before, and they're disgusting.
Yeah, well, so for a while, my family didn't have mashed potatoes. They only had sweet potatoes. And I'm not a big sweet potato fan, which I know a
Mhm.
lot of people can't, believe, but unfortunately, it is true.
I don't like sweet potatoes that well, so
Yeah, I'm not a big sweet potato fan. So the one year, I guess, my aunt decided to make mashed potatoes for me. And ever since then, now she makes them. They're okay. My mom makes them better, but
mhm.
I always just I have to like thank her every year because if I don't, like she'll be like offended. And
Yeah.
she always goes, "Oh, did you see I made your mashed potatoes?" Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, that kind of reminds me. Like there was one year I made the mashed potatoes, and actually people said that it was pretty good. Because funny thing was I found a really good recipe online where what you do is when you're mashing the potatoes, instead of using milk and butter and stuff like that, actually I used olive oil and garlic, like a lot of garlic in there, and a lot of the olive oil. And aside from the fact that like it's obviously it obviously doesn't have any milky taste because there's no milk in it, texture wise, you wouldn't notice the difference. And people actually enjoyed it. And then I explained like what I did to them. Although my brother and my sister-in-law, they made the mashed potatoes every year afterwards though, because like they were like, okay, you guys can focus on the stir fry and that salmon dish, and then we'll take care of the other side dishes. So it's like, okay, fine. I mean, the only reason why I even did potatoes that year was because like I think this was like the first year they did a full meal where with all of us going to their house for dinner, so they were way too swamped with cooking. So, they hadn't figured out the rhythm and flow of like when to do stuff, you know. So they asked me to assist on a couple of the side dishes that, weren't overly complicated, but they just don't have time to deal with it. So, yeah, that that was fun. That was fun. Actually, I wouldn't mind making that mashed potatoes again because they were actually pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I only looked up that recipe because I'm lactose intolerant, so I'm like, is there a recipe that doesn't have milk in it and I won't have to take lactate pills for? So there you go. uh,
Nailed it.
yeah.
My dad wouldn't eat them because he hates garlic.
What?
Ugh.
Yeah, I know. My dad hates garlic. So
Oh,
I
I
buy a
love
bunch of
garlic.
garlic. I buy garlic like everything that I can, and I eat it around him just because he hates he hates the way it smells, and I know it's the one thing he won't actually take of my food.
Ha.
Well, there's one way to ensure that.
Yes, yes,
Well, that just means that like there's also a lot of different cuisines he can't eat then because many cuisines use garlic. I mean, it's like
yeah,
not using pepper or salt or anything.
yeah. I mean, we use garlic, but we have to be very sparing with the garlic.
That's just
Like
sad.
it is because I love garlic. Like I could probably sit and eat an actual clove of garlic, no
It's like
problems.
it's like garlic bread.
Yeah, I'm like, I love garlic bread. I love just garlic anything.
Garlic with your meat, garlic with your potatoes,
Yes,
garlic everywhere.
pretty much. But
Yeah.
I make a pasta dish that when I cook it, I and he also likes his pasta cooked like almost to mush.
Ooh.
Ugh.
I know. I'm like, that's just an insult to all Italians in the world. It's an insult to me, and I'm not even Italian. I'm like, I like mine just on the other side of al dente. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll eat it al dente. It's good. It's delicious that way. I will eat it that way. But sometimes sometimes you just don't get it quite off the pot, off the heat and quite in time.
Mhm.
So it gets just a little bit cooked a little more, which is okay, but it's not mushy.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, you make yours crunchy pasta." I'm like, "It's not crunchy."
No. No, like when I cook pasta, like you know how like normally like on the box it'll have like 9 to 11 minutes or whatever. I put it on for 9. Like I can't have it
Yeah,
too done.
mine's 9 to 10 usually when I cook it.
Yeah. Does anyone watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade?
Every year.
Yep. I
Gotta
certainly
watch
do.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gotta watch it.
we turn it on and we just leave it on. It runs all day long.
Yeah. Like I watch it while I'm making the broccoli pie and having breakfast
Yeah.
usually.
Yeah, well, just like, my mom and I will usually get up early enough to start watching, and my dad loves sleeping late, and we'll just like casually eat our breakfast and watch the parade. And then once it gets closer to like 11, that's when my mom is like, okay, got to get ready for our simple lunch. And then we spend all afternoon doing our share of the cooking. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And in my house, it's not officially a holiday season until Santa crosses or stops in front of Macy's. Once Santa shows up and the parade's over, then it's officially the holiday season. Not before.
Hee hee.
Right.
I don't know why, but that is just what, you know, how we do it. And I will not listen to a Christmas carol until Santa crosses that threshold on 34th Street.
I don't listen. Christmas music is not allowed in the house. Well, it is, but I personally don't listen to Christmas music till the week before Christmas because
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry because it's in every damn store from like starting
Yeah.
now until after Christmas, and
Mhm.
I get so sick of it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm like, people, you do realize there is another holiday before Christmas. It's like
Yeah.
they go from
Well,
Halloween to Christmas. I'm like, did you
yeah,
all
I
forget
agree.
there's Turkey Day?
Yeah. And that actually does drive me crazy. It's like we do kind of just like skip over, and I get it, like decorating wise, there's real no decorations for Thanksgiving. So like I
Pumpkins and
get like
turkeys,
yeah, something, yeah.
fall foliage. I mean, there's
Yeah,
lots of decoration ideas. It's just they don't want to do it.
right. Right. And my sister worked in retail for years, hates Christmas music. She will only listen to Christmas music when we're decorating for Christmas, and she usually hides upstairs. And on Christmas Day, that's it.
Yeah, I completely, I agree with your sister on that one. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah,
I I listen when we decorate. Sometimes when I'm in the car, I may put on Christmas music, but it just depends on like how I'm feeling. But I tend to try and listen to the ones that aren't like uber popular. Like I have some like CDs that like the songs aren't necessarily on the radio, so it's like okay, it kind of changes up because you listen to the radio, so like around here 106.7 Light FM
Right.
Mhm.
is just 24/7 Christmas music. And
Yeah,
they actually start the week before Thanksgiving, which
Ugh.
is annoying. They used to
yeah,
start on Thanksgiving. Then they pushed it to now, not even just the week of, now it's the week before. I'm like, pretty soon it's going to be before Halloween. I'm
yeah.
like, I'm not ready.
I'm like,
Like,
I don't officially get into the Christmas spirit until after Thanksgiving is over.
yeah. Yeah, because usually, like, Black Friday, my
Yeah.
mom and I start decorating the outside of the house.
Oh yeah. See, we don't even decorate until like 2 weeks before Christmas in my
Yeah.
house.
Yeah, no. We decorate the outside first, and then usually like the week after Thanksgiving, we start decorating the inside. We have a fake tree now, so which is so much easier
Yes, it is.
than a real tree. We had a real tree for years. Though it smelled amazing, it was annoying.
Mhm.
Very, very annoying.
Oh, yeah.
I always used to have to carry it in the house. Like, how did I get this job? Thankfully, they're really not that heavy though. Um but cleaning, like having to water it all the time and all that stuff. But yeah, so usually like the week after Thanksgiving is when we start like decorating. But like my nephews come over, so it's like we have to have something because they get obsessed with decorations. Like they love the lights, they love all that. I do have to say, like, I know like you don't get into the spirit until, and obviously it's not just Christmas, it's all, the whole holiday season, whether you're Jewish or Christian or whatever, like
Yeah.
it is a great way to end the year because you go from summer, which is all bright and whatever, to autumn, which has all like the beautiful colors, Thanksgiving, like you said, the foliage, all that stuff, to the holiday season where it's all these bright lights and everyone's happy and it's all giving and all that stuff. And then it's like New Year's comes and everything just dies and the world just gets so dark.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh, so Thanksgiving does kind of start off that happy or supposed happy time of the year.
Yeah. Because I
Yeah.
mean, it's also a time of great stress and depression for
Yes.
people as well, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I, but
I
there's no.
try and stay optimistic.
I do too, but I do realize that there are people, and some that may even listen to our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Just know, for when we talk about our families and the holiday seasons, we are thinking of everybody in general terms that are struggling this time of the year. Just know that we're thinking of you and we're praying for you. We're hoping that you can see a glimmer of light at the end of a very dark tunnel that some of you may or may not be in.
Yeah.
And we
I
hope that
mean,
we can help you, like even if it's just a little bit
Yes.
with our craziness on here.
Yes.
at the end of the day, the most important thing is to not feel like you're the only one who feels the way you feel, and what you're feeling is perfectly valid. So,
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exactly.
Now on Thanksgiving, like for your dinners and stuff, do you guys ever go around the room and say what you're thankful for?
not really.
My aunt
We've
makes
done
us
it a
do
couple
it.
of times, but not too often.
My aunt makes us do it every year. The pressure to come up with something is real.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I, I never know what to say. What am I thankful for? My dog, my cat.
I
I don't
mean,
I don't
yeah.
know. Oh God, like it's yeah. There's a lot of pressure when you have to tell everybody, which I never understand. Like why people feel like they need to share. If that's whatever makes you happy and thankful, go for it, man. I don't need to know. That's your own personal business.
Yeah, like you were saying, that's just like too much pressure to put on people, you
Right?
know.
Yeah.
I sweat thinking about it.
Yeah, which makes you not thankful for whatever it is anymore.
Yeah, I'm not thankful for anything.
Yeah, at that point I'm just like, nope.
Not to mention,
Uh,
do you know how awkward it would be if like you really had a bad year that year? It's like, what is there to be thankful at that point? Huh? 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 You
oh,
know?
someone will find something. You're still alive. That's what you have to be thankful for. This is usually what
Yeah,
they
That is
you
say.
have your
true.
health.
Yep.
That is true too.
That's usually what people are like, well, you could be thankful that you still have your health and you're still alive. I'm like, okay, but here's a list of the crappy stuff that happened this year that I'm not thankful that happened. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't really feel like being thankful this year for that.
No, it's true. Like that's the one thing, like with these holidays, like in Thanksgiving, for me, it's usually the one holiday that I spend with my dad's family.
Hmm.
And obviously I've mentioned in the past, like my dad's not here anymore. And in May of 2020, my grandpa passed away. And so obviously we didn't celebrate last year, so this will be the first time that we're celebrating Thanksgiving as a family without him being there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's stuff like that. I mean, you lose somebody, it's like you can't help but look back on that. Like it does make it a little solemn. Like, oh, it's not the same anymore. Like, like there's that empty space. So
Oh,
I
definitely.
completely understand why people get so depressed. And listen, I've had years where I didn't feel happy throughout the entire season. You know what I mean? Like you can't help but start looking back on all the things that you have that are wrong in your life, or whatever, and this time of year unfortunately does tend to bring it out.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
Enough of the sad stuff.
Yes.
So with the parade, I'm going to go back to the parade. What is your favorite thing that you like to watch in particular? We don't have to get into specifics to this year, but just in general.
Hmm.
Like me, obviously I teach marching band, so I like to watch the marching bands because I judge the guard very, very hard.
um. Hmm. Hard to
I, I
say.
I don't know. I guess I'd have to say probably to see what balloons are.
Still around.
Yeah, which ones are
Yeah.
still around and which ones are new for the year. I
Mm.
mean, I watch it, but it's not a vest. I'm not really invested in it, I guess,
Hmm.
Yeah.
because I didn't do marching band. I think it's amazing that they get to do that. Whichever schools and states and stuff get to send a band up there to do it, but it's just not one of my. I mean I watch, but I'm just like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's not like one particular thing I look forward to about the parade, but it is always fun to see which are the new ones actually. Because they do update them periodically, like, new floats, to replace like ones that they may have stopped, including in rotation.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I like watching the Broadway shows.
Yeah, those are always fun too, especially the newer ones.
Hmm. I just remember the year that Prom came out and they performed, and it was their final song. Like they did like their finale song, and at the end of the song the two girls who are like lesbians, they kiss. And all I could think about was, ooh, how many people did they just tick off by showing these two girls kissing on national TV?
I
Like,
know, right?
that didn't go over very well.
Bold
Yeah,
statement.
I don't think my dad saw that because he would have been one of those people.
Yeah. This is a family show.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like the like when they did it, I was actually shocked because I knew it was coming, but I was like, "Oh, there's no way they're going to show it." Like, they're going to ruffle too many feathers, and they did, and I was like, "Damn. They really went there."
Yes, it did.
And I always feel bad for the performers who, when it's like super, super cold out, because, New York City
Yeah.
gets very cold. In fact, it's been cold the last week. And, just, so it can be very, very cold on Thanksgiving Day. And I feel bad for those performers that don't have, like, can't wear layers because it's like a costume or whatever, and they're wearing very, very little.
Right.
They are cold.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like, people who are running the marathon or anything where you're like, well, you're running 26 miles, so you got plenty of time to warm up.
Yep.
Yeah. I just realized, like, I never said what my favorite dish was.
Oh,
It,
true.
yeah, I just thought of that. Um, before I forget. My favorite dish is actually something that's relatively recent. It's only been since my brother and sister-in-law took over the turkey making and they hosted the dinner, but I don't know where my brother found this recipe, but he makes the stuffing and it's really good. It has like nuts and everything in it, so unfortunately for those of you who are allergic, you can't eat it, but it was really tasty. And the thing, it may surprise some people, but for me, stuffing is not something I normally would eat. It's like the only other time I ever ate stuffing before actually was like at Boston Market or whatever. So, because we are, as I've mentioned a few times on the show already, like we are a Chinese family. So there are just some dishes that are common here that we do not normally eat. So, yeah, stuffing is one of them, and I will always eat a lot of it, probably more than I should.
Yeah, I'm not a big
I,
stuffing
I
person.
love stuffing, or actually, we do more of a dressing because we don't actually stuff it inside the turkey.
Okay.
It's actually more of a dressing, but
Yeah.
this year we did it was a beef dressing, and it's because obviously we couldn't find oysters this year to do our oyster that we usually do, but because I live on a beef cattle farm, which I
Oh,
know
really?
that's going to enrage all of our animal activists and our vegetarian and vegan listeners. I'm so sorry. Please
Don't
don't
come at her.
But so we have our own beef, and we get it's we call it's we usually it's like stew meat is what they refer to it as. It's like it's like pieces of meat that are like cut up into cubes, and
Right.
we put them in stews and everything. We have that because we can a lot of our own food, so we do that every year. And we tried it this last year. Mom found a recipe for it, and so that's what we had this year for it. Oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It's so good.
But isn't it like half the enjoyment though is like the fact that it's a family tradition thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I want to know, what is your if anybody, because I have a horror story I could tell about one year for Thanksgiving
Oh boy.
that happened with with my dad's side of the family. It was my dad's side of the family. Most of my dad's side of the family lives in Maryland, and my cousins had, I don't know how long they'd been married, just a couple of years, like 2 or 3 years. And so they decided to do Thanksgiving one year. So they invited us. We live in Ohio. They live in Maryland. We got up early the day Thanksgiving Day and drove to Maryland for Thanksgiving dinner.
That's nuts.
That yes, that was nuts. And then but when we got there, because we were supposed to eat at like noon or like 1 o'clock, something like that. They were eating fairly early. They hadn't started cooking until 8 o'clock that morning. And they were trying to cook like a 20 or 25-pound turkey. It was like a huge turkey. And they didn't start cooking it until 8 a.m. and expected it to be ready by 1 o'clock.
Amateurs.
Yes. And nothing else was cooked. They were trying to cook all this stuff. It was more the fact, I think, because they'd never done it before, so they were just overwhelmed and didn't know what they were doing. Kind of horror story is not so much that there was anything bad or wrong or drama related, but it was probably one of the worst Thanksgivings I've ever had.
Yeah, no, one year the turkey caught on fire. That was kind of fun.
Were you trying to deep fry it or what?
Well, so this was years ago. I was, I think, in high school, and my aunt's then husband decided he wanted to deep fry a turkey, and she wanted to cook it, roast it in the oven or put it in the oven.
Yeah.
And yeah, his was no. I don't suggest deep frying a turkey. That's just me. But no, this was actually, it was in the oven, and I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden we just see flames in the oven, and we were all just like, "Oh my god!" The smoke detectors went off, and yeah, it was a little crispy, not
Yeah.
terrible. We all, you could still eat it, but
Yeah.
yeah, fun times, fun times.
Yeah, my cousin deep fried a turkey for us one year. Oh my god, it was so good. It was the best turkey I've ever had.
Then my ex-uncle must have just been really bad at it. Which,
'Cause
I mean,
yeah, because I mean, usually when you cook turkey tends to be a drier meat when it comes out.
mhm.
If you don't baste it correctly or get enough like juice or butter and everything inside it and baste it a lot, it tends to be a drier meat. But the deep fried turkey was the juiciest turkey I've ever tasted.
Hmm.
Oh, it was so good. Oh, it was so good. He only ever did it once. He's never done it again.
Probably too much work.
Yeah, I think that was pretty much it. Yes.
Yeah.
Any TV show Thanksgiving episodes that that you liked through the years? Like, I can think of Gilmore Girls, when Rory and Lorelai had like 6 different Thanksgiving dinners to go to in one day.
Oh my god.
Um, no, not really for me. I don't know. I mean, Thanksgiving, I can't really think of a particular episode that really got to me or anything.
There's obviously, like, there's not a lot of like movies or anything like that, like there are for like Christmas and stuff, but Happy Thanksgiving, Charlie Brown is a classic, and I do recommend it for all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I was just gonna say Charlie Brown's Christmas. Definitely.
Mm.
Christmas and Thanksgiving, because they have the Thanksgiving episode too.
Yeah.
Both of those. Those are
Well,
ones
then,
I watch all the time.
well, then again, Peanuts anything is always worth watching.
This
True.
is true. This is true.
Okay, so before we close out, as usual, we have an email address where you can send us questions, comments, criticisms on how to improve our show. You can email us at threefatesdecide@gmail.com. It's the title of our podcast, all in one word, and the 3 is spelt out.
And you can also reach us on Instagram at Three Fates Decide. The 3 is spelled out. And feel free to send us DMs.
Let us know what you think. We love feedback.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Catch us next time.
And see what we're going to talk about.
Because the 3 Fates decide.